When I was 11, I started picking stocks, but I had the completely wrong idea. I was fascinated by watching stock prices move up and down. I believed stocks were just numbers that fluctuated, so I spent time charting them. I even read books on technical analysis, including Edwards and Magee, which was considered the classic back then. I read hundreds of pages and went through it over and over and over. I was obsessed with learning, and for the first 8 years, I thought the key was to predict stock movements and forecast the stock market. Then, when I was 19 or 20, I came across Ben Graham's work, and that completely changed my perspective. I realized I had been going about it all wrong, but those years of studying weren't wasted. It gave me a solid foundation. After reading Graham's book, The Intelligent Investor, my mindset shifted. From that point on, I stopped thinking of stocks as just numbers to be predicted, and instead I began to see them as pieces of businesses that just happened to be publicly traded. I became an owner of businesses, not a stock trader. I stopped caring whether the stock price went up or down the next day, the next week, or even the next year. Honestly, I didn't know, and I still don't know, what the stock market will do in the short term. But I do know businesses. I'm someone who is deeply passionate about what I do. I've spent my entire life studying this, surrounding myself with people who bring out the best in me. You don't need to be a genius to succeed in this field. That's one of the beautiful things about it. If I had gone into physics or some other highly technical field, I'd likely just be average. But in this game, all you really need is the right mindset. Sure, having an IQ of around 120 helps, but anything beyond that won't make you better at it. In fact, it might even hurt you. It's not about how smart you are, it's about how you think. The most people, let's say 90%, just to put a number on it, approach stocks the wrong way. They're constantly hoping the price goes up next week, and when the market goes down, they feel bad. But for me, I feel better when the market drops because it gives me the chance to buy more of a great company at a cheaper price and look about what that company will be worth in 10 or 20 years, not what it's doing next month. I always try to play in a field where I know I can win. One thing about me is that when I decide to do something, I want to do it big. For example, when I first started, I put my entire net worth into a single stock, City Service Preferred, at $114.75 per share. Since that day, which was March 11th, 1942, I've never had less than 80% of my money invested in American businesses. So that's how I think about investing, and it's served me well. But you can call them stocks, sure, but to me they represent American businesses. I've always owned a piece of American business, and at least 80% of my wealth has been invested in them at all times. I don't want to own anything else. Of course, I want to own a home and provide for my family. But owning multiple homes doesn't appeal to me. Owning 5 homes won't make me any happier than owning one. And more homes just mean more problems. Happiness doesn't come from excess. It comes from doing what you enjoy. What brings me the most happiness is what I'm doing, investing in businesses. There are 2 main reasons I love it. First, I know I'll win over time. I don't have to beat everyone else, but the game is easy if you have the right mindset and understand what you're buying. I'm not just buying stocks, I'm buying pieces of real, mostly American businesses. And I'm happiest when stock prices go down because I can buy more for the same amount of money. If I were a farmer, I'd feel the same way. I'd want farmland prices to drop so I could buy more acres. It just makes sense. The second thing I love is the trust people place in me. I'd much rather work with partners than sit in a room doing it all alone, even if I could make more money that way. Trust is invaluable to me. Now let's imagine there was no stock market. What if I had to buy businesses privately, like you would buy a farm or an apartment building? So these are investments that you purchase with your savings, aiming to put the money away and feel confident about getting it back later. Not immediately, but eventually. If people approach buying businesses the same way, they would likely make much better decisions. And in fact, we'd probably all be better off if the stock market didn't exist, at least when it comes to how we think about investments. The US economy is incredibly strong. If you look at the data, a larger percentage of Americans are wealthier now than ever before. While not everyone is wealthy, the overall standard of living has risen dramatically. Bank accounts have more deposits, mortgages are available at lower rates than ever before, and people today have access to resources that were unimaginable in the past. No, even the bottom 2% of income earners in the US today live better than John D. Rockefeller, who was the richest man in the world when I was 6 years old. Or to think about it today, you can get better healthcare, better education, better entertainment, and better transportation than Rockefeller ever could. And if he wanted to watch a football game, he had to go in person, whereas I can watch it on a big screen from the comfort of my home, complete with replays and commentary. Maybe not everyone has a screen as big as mine, but almost everyone has access to a TV, a computer, or a smartphone. The progress we've made is truly astounding, especially here in the United States. When I was born, dentists didn't even use Novocaine. The advancements we've made in my lifetime alone are remarkable. No country has achieved what the US has. If you look back just 3 lifetimes, less than 1% actually, closer to 0.5% of the world's population lived in this land. Now look at us. People in the US don't work harder than those in the rest of the world. In terms of hours of hard labor, we all face unpleasant tasks.
Unlock wealth in 90 days with the wisdom of a 7,000-year-old wizard. The Wealth Wizard's Secrets to be rich. Achieving wealth in 90 days helps you overcome limiting beliefs, reprogram your mind, and set clear goals. This transformative guide, packed with motivational stories and practical exercises, is your path to prosperity. Get it now for the promotional price, available only today. Click on the pinned comment link and start your journey to wealth now.
Yet, despite having no special advantages, a small fraction of the population in this country, the early settlers managed to build something extraordinary. They worked the same hours and had the same IQs as people everywhere else. Maybe they had a bit more drive, crossing oceans to start a new life. But fast forward a couple of lifetimes and now the US holds 20% or more of the world's wealth. It's incredible how this system has worked. If you could go back to the Constitutional Convention in 1789 and tell the Founding Fathers what life would look like today, they'd think you were insane. Imagine telling them that their great-great-grandchildren would be flying in planes, watching global sports events from their living rooms, and benefiting from medical advancements they couldn't. They'd lock you up for being a lunatic. The progress we've made is unbelievable. Take the work of Thomas Edison, for example. He made some money from his inventions, but the real value of what he created belongs to all of us now. Think about what an hour of labor could provide for a family 100 years ago versus what it provides now. It's astonishing. This is the result of capitalism, and while some people might think we should eliminate the system, that's not the answer. Capitalism needs a referee government to keep it in check, but they have to work together. The wealth generated by capitalism isn't just for the rich. Sure, if I wanted to, I could buy 50 super yachts, but what would that really mean for me? The real impact of wealth is in how it benefits others. The products we create, like the iPhone I use, even though I'm probably the least tech-savvy person out there, make life better for everyone. And this progress isn't stopping anytime soon. Our system is constantly evolving, and while it's far from perfect, it's much better than it used to be, and it will be even better 50 years from now. How do I know this? I've lived through 91 years of it. I've never seen a time when I didn't believe in the progress of business and government, even though there have been setbacks. We've had a civil war, the Great Depression, pandemics, you name it, but despite all that, business and government keep moving forward. Most importantly, people move forward. I always tell people the same advice. If you want to invest for the long term, the best thing to do is to invest in an index fund, specifically the SP 500. It's simple and effective. But of course, as organizations grow, they create more complex indexes across different industries and countries, which goes against the wisdom of Jack Bogle, the founder of index funds. Bogle's philosophy was that you can't know enough to pick the right businesses, so how can you possibly know enough to pick the right industries or commodities? The answer is you can't. So stick to what works, keep it simple, and you'll do well over the long run. And now to summarize everything you learned in this video. When I invest, I don't see stocks as just numbers. I see them as pieces of real American businesses. I've always kept at least 80% of my money in American companies because that's where I believe the value lies. Owning multiple homes or material things doesn't bring happiness, but investing in something meaningful does. What I love about investing is twofold. First, I know that over time I'll win if I stick to the right principles. I don't focus on short-term stock prices. I think about the long-term value of the businesses I own. Second, I value the trust people place in me. I'd rather work with partners than go it alone, because trust makes the journey more fulfilling. If there was no stock market, I'd still invest in businesses just like you'd buy a farm or a building. People would make better investment decisions if they thought more about the long-term potential of the businesses rather than day-to-day price movements. The US economy has created immense wealth, and today, people enjoy a higher standard of living than at any time in history. The progress we've made is remarkable, especially in the US. Over the past century, despite challenges like wars, depressions, and pandemics, we've continued to move forward. Capitalism, guided by responsible government, has made life better for everyone. If you want to invest for the long term, the best approach is simple. Stick to index funds like the SP 500. Don't overcomplicate it by trying to pick specific industries or countries. Keep it straightforward, and you'll do well over time. One of the biggest advantages of investing in index funds, like the SP 500, is diversification. Instead of trying to pick individual winners and losers, which is both difficult and risky, you're spreading your money across hundreds of the largest companies in the US. This way, your investment is balanced, and you're protected from the ups and downs of any single stock or sector. It's like having a built-in safety net while still benefiting from the overall growth of the market. Another key point is that over time, the stock market has historically gone up, despite short-term dips and crashes. By investing in an index fund, you're betting on the long-term growth of the economy, not on the success of individual companies. This removes the emotional aspect of investing, which often leads people to make poor decisions like panic selling during market downturns. Patience and discipline are your best friends here. Also, index funds are incredibly low cost compared to actively managed funds. Active managers charge high fees, claiming they can outperform the market, but in reality, most don't. By keeping costs low with an index fund, more of your money stays invested and consecutive and compound over time. This compounding effect is critical because it's how small amounts can grow into substantial wealth if given enough time. Another benefit is simplicity. You don't need to spend hours researching individual stocks or worrying about timing the market. Index investing allows you to focus on the big picture long-term growth without getting caught up in the daily noise of the financial world. The less complicated your strategy, the easier it is to stick with it. And consistency is what leads to success in the long run. Lastly, index funds give you peace of mind. Instead of constantly worrying about whether you made the right stock picks or if you need to adjust your portfolio, you can set it and forget it. This frees up your time and energy for other pursuits, while your investments continue to work for you in the background. It's a stress-free way to grow your wealth over time. One of the underrated aspects of index investing is that it keeps you focused on what really matters: time in the market, not timing the market. Many investors get caught up in trying to buy low and sell high, but even experts often get that wrong. With index funds, you don't need to worry about trying to predict market movements. The longer you stay invested, the more you benefit from the market's natural growth over the years. Another important factor is the power of compounding. The earlier you start investing, the more time your money has to grow. Even small contributions can lead to significant gains if they're given time to compound. Index funds are perfect for this because they grow steadily with the market. You're not just earning returns on your initial investment, you're earning returns on the returns, which accelerates your rates for wealth building. But index funds help eliminate the emotional roller coaster that often comes with stock picking. So when you're invested broadly in the entire market, you don't have to stress about individual companies' ups and downs. This allows you to stay calm during market downturns, knowing that historically the market always recovers and moves higher over time. It's a proven strategy that takes much of the guesswork and stress out of investing. Another strong advantage of index funds is that they make it easy to stay consistent with your investing habits. By automating your contributions, whether it's monthly or quarterly, you can steadily build wealth without having to make constant decisions about where to put your money. This discipline adds up over time, ensuring that you're consistently investing regardless of what the market is doing at any given moment. In addition, index investing aligns well with a long-term mindset, which is key for successful investing. And when you focus on holding for the long haul, you're less likely to get swayed by short-term volatility or headlines that can trigger emotional decisions. This patience allows you to ride out market corrections or downturns, knowing that over decades, the market has shown a consistent upward trajectory. The idea is to let your investments grow while avoiding the distractions that derail so many investors. Investing in index funds gives you the flexibility to focus on other important aspects of personal finance. With a straightforward, low-maintenance approach to investing, you can spend more time building your career, improving your financial literacy, or planning for other goals like buying a home or starting a business. This simplicity allows you to focus on your overall financial picture while your investments quietly compound in the background. Finally, we have reached the end, and I believe that you will change your life this year. If you believe, enter in the comments below. I am open to abundance, and I will leave a heart to welcome you. Now is appearing 2 videos on your screen to broaden your knowledge and path to abundance. Click on one and start changing your life today through these insights. See you in the next video.